how much passion and how much love goes into every line of code that we write. Cardano for us is not just a product, it is a philosophy, it's a way of life, it's our personal ikigai in that respect. And every day when we work on this, we work on it with the belief that this is going to influence and change the lives of millions, if not more. So we take that very seriously, and the people who work with us take that very seriously. At times, it means that you don't get the features that you'd want to have exactly when you'd want to have it. And at times, it means that sometimes it takes longer to get through the QA process than you would like. But instead of having a dogmatic blind adherence to an arbitrary deadline, what you do is you do the right thing and you move things from time to time. And that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Because at the end of the day, when you do get there, you know that you've gotten to a place that's pretty special and pretty unique.
Like every other broadcast and interview he has given, Charles Hoskinson's latest broadcast on the postponement of the Vasil hard fork shows his dedication to the proof-of-stake platform and to doing things correctly, regardless of how slow it may seem to outsiders. Time and time again, Hoskinson has proven that he is quite different from the general crop of crypto leaders. A bit of background information before we get to Hoskinson's interview. A few hours ago, Input Output Global, the development company behind the Cardano blockchain, announced the postponement of the long-anticipated Vasil hard fork upgrade. The team said it has 7 bugs to fix and that developers on the network asked for more time to test the new features. In his broadcast addressing the issue, Charles Hoskinson, the co-founder of the blockchain engineering company and founder of the Cardano network, addresses the issue and assures users that things are going perfectly. He also announces that the hard fork will now take place in the last week of July instead of the original date of June 29. Regardless, Hoskinson assures the public that the network is still laser-focused on achieving all of its aims and the Vasil hard fork is the first step toward doing that. Please watch, like, and share this video. And don't forget to drop your observations and opinion about the Cardano network and its formidable team in the comments section below. Thanks and enjoy the video. Here is Charles Hoskinson.
We're pretty close to the target. We're code complete. And what code complete effectively means is you probably could flip the switch and get away with it. And certain projects would do that. But what happened after the collapse of Terra Luna is that I gave a directive to a lot of the engineers to say we should probably measure 3 times and cut once, given the nature of things. And so additional tests were added in the Plutus suite and additional work was done for QA above and beyond what we normally do for hard fork. So that was one dimension of the puzzle that made it more complicated. The other dimension of the puzzle was that after consensus, we did have an enormous amount of contact with dApp developers and other people. And there was a desire to be a bit more inclusive in the QA process and the testing process. So a lot of them said, hey, we need several weeks on testnet to be able to play around with these things. And at the end of the day, this is not a hard fork for the average Cardano user. The Vasil hard fork has always been a hard fork specifically for dApp developers. It speeds up the transaction rate with pipelining, and then all the SIPs are basically there to make Plutus smart contracts easier to write. If you're a developer, whether you're doing it on the main net or the test net, you should have the same development environment in that respect. So what's more meaningful to the community, frankly, is making sure that the testnet runs Vasil so that people who are building dApps on Cardano can deploy those dApps. And you'll notice something that's still on schedule for, it appears to be a June hard fork. So we don't anticipate that this July date is going to in any way impact the actual rollout of all the dApps that have been waiting for Vasil, because now they have a testing environment to do that. The foundation always requests at least 3 to 4 weeks of time for exchanges and other infrastructure. And one of the things that happened when we were looking at the infrastructure audit, the amount of community programs, the community projects that are plugging into Cardano are very significant. In fact, much, much more so than when Alonzo came out in September, which we did hit the date of. So it's a little disappointing at times that things sometimes take a little bit more time. But now we've gotten to a point where the project complexity and the amount of integrations and third-party things that have to work well and not break is pretty significant. And this is significant because we're doing network enhancements, consensus enhancements with pipelining. We're upgrading significant changes to the Plutus language, which is the first time we've ever done that with live dApps in circulation. And adding new cryptographic primitives, the SecP256K1, Plutus versioning, moving the D parameter. There's a lot of stuff here with this hard fork. It's the largest and most significant I think we've ever done, And it's one where the stakes have never really been higher in that respect. We have a security auditor named B Cryptic. They do a rolling audit, and for 3 weeks, they found no issues. And that's a good indicator that things are mature. So the Cardano 360 episode at the end of the month, I requested a lot of people who are doing testing to come on, including even talking about the bug bounty program, which has found some interesting things. So you guys can actually get a sneak peek behind the scenes of why Cardano doesn't tend to have problems, because it's a byproduct of all the hard work. So July's not too far off, and all things considered, it's kind of in an acceptable zone in my view. It's a little frustrating because I really wanted to make sure that we got something in June, but getting it on the testnet, I think, is good enough for the developers because they're the primary constituent here, and that's not going to slow down ecosystem growth.
Hoskinson speaks further about some of the issues that caused the delay and how the current state of the cryptocurrency industry will make things difficult for him when he appears before the House Agricultural Committee on Thursday.
Building cryptocurrencies is tricky business. There's a lot of moving parts, and you try your best to estimate things, and there's a lot of unexpected things that come up. There were some attrition. There were some COVID cases that came up that were particularly nasty, and they delayed some things in certain areas. Consensus turned out to be a larger resource sink than I would have liked to be, but it didn't slow down too much of the core team. And it was incredibly valuable from several perspectives, but it did cost some time on certain parts. And it gave us a newfound appreciation for a lot of the dApp developers. We met tons of them there, and they really wanted to sneak behind the scenes, and we're happy to do that. But nothing is free in life. And all things considered, what's really nice is to be code complete, which we are. And now we're just kind of working our way down the train of bugs. And the fact that our tests are discovering so many bugs and we're correcting those as quickly as possible is a really good indicator that the process works. So I want to thank the core team and everybody who's been working on this, and the extended team, all the people that have been helping us test this. This is the most tested release in the history of Cardano. It's the most complex release in the history of Cardano and the most interconnected release in the history of Cardano. And yet it seems like it's going to continue like any other update. When the switch is flipped and the HFC event occurs, just works. That's the magic of all of it behind the scenes. And of course, our detractors will criticize us and say stuff, but what have they done lately? Outside of create catastrophic risk for the cryptocurrency industry. It's not lost on me that when I go before the House Agriculture Committee, we're probably going to receive more than one question about the state of affairs in crypto. The collapse of Celsius, the collapse of Terra Luna, the constant hacks that happen, the anti-consumer behavior that occurs, flawed DeFi protocols. It's open season right now. And it's frustrating because many of our harshest critics were the biggest proponents for the very protocols that are now collapsed, yet they don't seem to have any fallout for supporting such things. Meanwhile, we as an ecosystem have consistently said and done the same thing. We move forward, we build things. And you can see by the caution, care, and just the interconnectedness behind the things that we do, how much passion and how much love goes into every line of code that we write. And in an industry that doesn't seem to value that, and the consequences has been, over the last year, the destruction of $1 trillion of wealth, the bankrupting of hundreds of firms, and catastrophic systemic risk that's now inviting potentially harsh regulation to come to our industry. Maybe it is a good idea from time to time to measure twice or sometimes 3 times and cut once. Because if you miscut, it hurts real people. It causes real damage. But the people who criticize that, maybe they should get another Luna tattoo. I don't know. The 20 smart people will certainly tell them what the flavor of the week is. It's just sad sometimes, but it doesn't in any way diminish the passion, enthusiasm, and excitement we have, and we know you, the community, have. So we'll see you next month. It's going to be a very good month and a very exciting month. And if you are a developer, when the testnet rolls over, please do begin immediately building and testing, because we want to see the testnet stressed. We want to see you actually deploy your Plutus V2 scripts and use the new features and functionality. These are your critical 4 weeks to be able to get that done. And as always, we'll be around, answering questions, pushing forward, and you'll see the sign-up sheets July, August, if you want to become part of a members-based organization to take Cardano to the next level. We're all going to do that together. Until next time, folks, see you soon. Cheers.
Cardano has always seemed like a promising project. In an industry like ours that often places results, no matter how shoddy they seem, over accurate methodology, it is quite refreshing to see a team that takes great care in balancing both. If the hard fork proceeds as planned next month, Cardano, the native token of the platform, could see some price gains. However, there is more to this development than just a few green candles. The Vasil hard fork and other initiatives the team has planned will greatly help to shape and prepare the network for the next phase of cryptocurrency adoption. What do you think about Hoskinson's broadcast and his laser-focused approach to doing things? Please share your thoughts, comments, and observations in the comment section below, and don't forget to hit the like button.